second part of filling a form consists of various other details which are required in Form 44 or is an important data for application processing. Following are various data which needs to be entered. First, stability data of the drug. In this, applicant needs to enter stability data of the drug. Details which need to be filled in by the applicant are batch, duration in months, batch number, batch size, presentation, date of initiation, manufacturing date of the drug, proposed shelf life, stability condition, for example, accelerated, stress, intermediate and real time. Temperature and RH factor need to be selected from the given drop-down options and fill the storage conditions. After filling in these details, applicant needs to enter the result and remark, if any, against each added ingredients. Applicant can give up to 5 durations. For example, for batch 1, if applicant selects 0 month and 3 months, correspondingly 2 result columns will be added in the table below. It is possible to add multiple stability data by clicking on the Save button. Saved data will be appended in the table below. Premises details of the manufacturer of drug product. Here, applicant needs to select the site type and corresponding to the site type, an address needs to be entered. One address can be linked with multiple site type. Premises details of the manufacturer of drug substance. Here, applicant needs to select the site type and corresponding to the site type, an address needs to be entered. One address can be linked with multiple site type. Patent details of drug in India. If applicable, then the applicant need to mention the patent status, patent number, country, patent date, description. You can add multiple patent details. If applicant is not applicable for the particular panel, then the applicant should click on Not Applicable. Regulatory status of investigational drug in other countries. In this, one needs to select the status of the drug in the country, then rest of the details needed to be entered. Various status available are approval pending, approved, approved as IND, marketed, new chemical entity, not approved anywhere, and withdrawn. In the animal toxicology and animal pharmacology panel, applicant needs to mention the status against the various studies. Status consists of study conducted, study not required, waiver requested, and literature survey. Third part of filling form consists of clinical trial specific details. First panel, whether it is a global clinical trial. In this panel, scope objective of the trial, study design, and whether it is a global clinical trial is mentioned. If it is a global clinical trial, then name of the participating countries, number of subjects globally present in the trial, and number of subjects in India are to be mentioned. Sponsor details. Sponsor details whether self-sponsored or sponsored by others. In case of sponsored by others, details of that sponsor is required. In the upcoming panels, data can be entered by clicking on the Add Detail button, and the data entered can be multiple. Comparator drug details. Details which needs to be entered are comparator drug name, brand name, dosage form, route of administration of the drug, name of the manufacturer, and name of the country where it is manufactured. Disease under investigation panel. In this panel, we need to mention the disease for which the clinical trial is being conducted. After filling the details, click on the Save button. Clinical trial site details panel. In this panel, applicant needs to enter complete details of the sites where he will be conducting trial. Details which needed to be entered are hospital where trial will take place. In this, a list of hospital will be given with an others option. One can select others option if the hospital is not listed. Then number of beds in the hospital, institutional ethics committee, the detail of principal investigator. In the detail of principal investigator, which includes the name of investigator, designation, qualification, medical council number, specialization, number of CT completed, and whether GCP trained or not. Click on Save button. Protocol Details panel. In this panel, applicant needs to give complete details of the protocol which is being used in clinical trial. Applicant needs to enter protocol number, version number, date of protocol, dosing, whether single dose or multi-dose, number of healthy volunteers, number of patients, planned number of subjects to be included in India, type of population, that is whether population consists of pregnant women, etc., protocol title, study design of protocol, subject whether male, female or both, age group in which age group patients fall, and proposed study period per patients in week. Click on Save button. Local Clinical Laboratory Details panel. As each local lab is linked with the principal investigator, hence a list of principal investigator earlier mentioned is being given so that the user needs to select the investigator and then give the complete details of the laboratory. Central Clinical Trial Laboratory. Applicant needs to give entire details of the central laboratory. Details include the entire address of the lab. Click on Save and add the details. Regulatory status of clinical trial in other countries. In this panel, applicant needs to provide regulatory status in other countries which are involved in the trial. Here applicant will select the status and that basis various details need to be given. Following are the details which need to be filled: regulatory status, date of approval, number of patients enrolled, status approval, name of country, copy of approval need to be uploaded. Previous clinical trial. In this, applicant need to provide the status of previous phases of clinical trial. They give the clinical trial phase, registry if known, registration number if available, and status. Click on Save button. After completion of Part 3, applicant will click on the Continue button to move on to the Part 4 of Step 1, that is filling a form. Part 4 is basically an undertaking from the applicant that he will submit the details in the checklist section for the fields which are a part of Form 44 but haven't been taken at form level. After ticking the checkbox of undertaking, applicant can continue to the next step, that is Step 2, which is the first preview of the form. Step 2, First Preview. Following is the first preview of Form 44, which contains the information filled by the applicant. In case applicant wants to change the information, he can click on Edit Form button. Else, click on Proceed to Checklist. Please note, after clicking on Proceed to Checklist, the applicant cannot modify the form.